Good evening and welcome to the stream. This is a news broadcast today. Something slightly different. To those on YouTube, hello. To those on Twitch who may be watching, hello. I have told people to be in here at the start of this stream because it is going to be a kind of straightforward onward stream. At least for the first few minutes, like this part of the stream. This is a new thing I'm going to try experimenting with. I'll do now and again. I'm not sort of sure how regular it's going to be, but it's been prompted by a bit of news that came around the internet over the last few days, and something that I kind of missed it when it first happened, and I was vaguely aware that there was something going on around this subject, but it's just one of those things where not sure why it's going on. So, in short, this is me, being honest, being grumpy man, and venting / ranting / having a bit of a tirade about stuff that goes on in the world. Injustices, things that don't make sense, people who are being idiots, that kind of thing. So quite a lot of people do this kind of stuff. I don't do it very often. I've kind of resisted doing it to this point. But today, the longer today has gone through, then the more I've kind of had this urge to do this. So I'll come to the point. This is prompted by corporate decisions. Large companies, the larger they are, the bigger they fall, basically making decisions that can either cripple themselves, or cripple the people that work for them, or cripple the people that do things for them, or cripple the resources that they are actually getting that they don't even see they've got. What I'm talking about, and this is going to disappoint a few people, probably, but I don't care, is Stage9. Stage9 is a internet project run by a chap in the UK to recreate the Enterprise D in accurate detail in a virtual environment, so that you can walk around it and do whatever you please, and whatever. I've heard about it for a couple of years. I heard a few things about it a few months ago, and was quite tempted. I also found Star Trek Bridge Crew at the same time, which was much the same kind of thing. Excuse me, I'm eating hair. Whereas Bridge Crew gives you missions and so on, and is a game, and has multiple environments you can use, at the point where Stage9 was invented, all it had was this. Was the Abrams version of Star Trek. Stage9 is a faithful recreation of the next generation Enterprise bridge, ready room, observation lounge, transporter rooms, quarters, corridors, annexes, shuttle bays most impressively, and various other parts of it. The issue around it is they received a cease and desist order on the 12th of September from CBS, who essentially, cease and desist order is stop doing this stuff because we don't want you doing it because you're breaching our intellectual property. Now, although many of you may know my opinions on intellectual property and the Machiavellian ways that some people actually try to protect that IP, but in the case of CBS, there has been an increasing lack of understanding of the fandom of Star Trek, and indeed the entire franchise. Since the whole Discovery concept came into CBS studios and they started to rebirth Star Trek in a different image, they have slammed down on pretty much every single fan production that has been going on for years, however long it may be, in whatever guise it may be. The main thing about it was there was a project called Axanar, which happened to be set around about the same time that CBS wanted to set Discovery, so they slammed a cease and desist order on them. Now, I don't know whether there's been something going off on the sidelines with that, but on the back of that, what CBS started to do was started to say that any fan productions have to be less than 20 minutes in size, cannot be continuing series, cannot go any longer than X amount of time, X amount of minutes, have X amount of representation on the internet. So essentially, fan projects were killed. Things like Star Trek Phase 2, or New Voyages, whatever you want to call it, which is a long-running series that has gone for a long, long time. There's another one as well, I can't remember the name of, with Vic Mignogna, which is also very, very good, very, very well put together, and has been a very, very good advert for how the fan community can come together and make something with production values that actually are very similar to what you would find on television. The problem is, CBS don't want any of that stuff to happen now. For what reason, I can't fathom. So they have decided that none of these things are allowed to live, and Stage 9 is the latest victim of that. Now, the thing that gets to me is that these projects make no money. They receive very little money. They get some funding from things like Kickstarters and Patreons and all that kind of stuff. But that money goes into making the series, goes into making the props, goes into the supplies for that, goes into paying the actors or the crew or whatever else. No profit is made from it. And this is the important thing to remember, is that no profit is made for it. Each and every one of these things runs as a non-profit organisation. The ones that don't have any financing or money or anything behind them do not even have that. They run as a fan project. So time is free, effort is free, people are free, work is free, no one knows anything about it. And that essentially is the crux of this issue. And the crux of the problem that I have with it is that if nobody's making any money from it, and nobody's having to pay anything to experience this thing, then what the hell is the problem? Essentially, CBS are sitting there on their little golden thrones, laying down the law for the people who have the passion, the dedication, the knowledge, the ability, everything that goes into making something that is an homage, or even a parody in some ways, but a homage or a pastiche of things that are to do with that subject. Right? People have passion. People have kept things alive. Now, the thing that bothers me the most about this situation is that Stage 9, I'm going to pop some slideshow on for you now to show you just how lovely it actually is. Stage 9 is created by a guy in the UK. Now, the URL for it is stage9.co.uk. I'll stick it in the chat so you can have a look at it. So it's stage9.co.uk. Right, unfortunately there's not much on there now. It was the home of the whole thing. You could download it from there, see screenshots, blah 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 blah. Because of the cease and desist order now, there's bugger all there now, apart from a blurred out video of the thing. A blurred out video with the guy talking over it. I don't know the guy's name because I haven't found anything that actually mentioned his name, but he goes on at some length. And right on to him as well. That may sound negative. It's not meant to sound negative. It's entirely positive. This guy's worked his socks off and done a very good job. And he tried his damnedest to try and stop CBS from taking it down. He had discussions with them and tried to make them see that it was a project, a passion project, a love project, done by fans, for no gain, for no profit, for no money, for nothing. And they had nothing of it. Because apparently a few days ago, towards the end of the month apparently, CBS essentially said, no, we're not standing down, take it down or else. So the guy had no choice. It's now down. His full statement is available on stage9.co.uk, so have a look there. As you can see in the chat there is a petition to try and get CBS to do it. Now I know everyone says that petitions don't do a lot of good, but you know, what's the harm in trying? But CBS, you twats, I mean, nobody's causing anybody any harm doing this stuff. Stage 9 is one of these projects that has put together the thing that people who are into Star Trek, who are fans of Star Trek, and have been fans, I mean, let's face it, this series is now, what, 25 years old, 30 years old, something like that? 1987 it started. So it's 30 years old now. That's horrific. Wow, I realised how old I am now. And it wouldn't have existed. It would never have been put back on the air, or even stayed on the air, if the fans hadn't wanted it. If nobody had watched it, nobody would have cared. Star Trek the original series only lasted for 3 seasons because fans wanted that third season, Your lives and your hobbies and not your lives and your hobbies, shut up Dave. Your jobs and your existence and your very fabric of your TV existence and your motion picture existence. I know CBS don't do the motion pictures, but used to. Still get money from all the films that got sold. Are there because the fans stay with you, because the fans are loyal. What you have done by having this Machiavellian attitude towards everything to do with the content and everything to do with the fandom and everything to do with everything that's on there is alienate levels of your fandom and show your fandom that you don't give a flying fuck about Star Trek, that you don't give a flying fuck about the audience, and that you don't give a flying fuck about what people actually want to see in Star Trek. Is it entitlement? No. I don't feel that I'm entitled to have a Star Trek thing, or that I'm entitled to do this or do that, or that Star Trek should be this or that. CBS, it belongs to you. You do what you want with it. You put whatever canon installments in the series into whatever you want to do. The only thing I will say is that Rick arse-faced dick cunt Berman shoved the entire franchise up his fat smelly arse and shat out a big pile of wank. And you are still recovering from that, because Enterprise essentially was the biggest suckhole that ever came out of a whale's mouth. Voyager was basically a rip-off of Lost in Space that you couldn't even get right because you had shit actors and shit directors and shit production values and no direction for the series whatsoever, including lots of scientific bollocks. It was just all techno-babble and illogical statements. Deep Space Nine was a rip-off of Babylon 5 because you saw something on the horizon that could be better than Star Trek. And Rick Berman said, oh, we can do that. And he did do it. He did it as a complete pile of shit. So, since Next Generation, Star Trek has gone down this long tube full of crap. And that's what CBS has allowed it to be. Discovery has taken Star Trek and admittedly, good acting, good production values, good stories. But you could put them in any dystopic universe. And it would be a good series. Branding it with Star Trek and stamping the Star Trek symbol on everybody's uniform means absolutely nothing. And you keep on sitting there and saying, oh, it all ties into the Prime Universe. Well, no, it really doesn't, does it? It really actually doesn't. And we can go down this whole road of, oh, well, we've got better production values now, we've got more technology now, we have to bring things up to date. No, you fucking don't. Because, and this is the important part that I think pretty much everybody at CBS and everybody involved with this whole production crap keeps missing, is that Star Trek was never about the special effects. It was never about the production values. It was about the stories. It was about the characters that you could get on with, that you could laugh with, that you could cry with, that you could follow their adventures and watch them develop as people. Next Generation had that in spades. 2 of the main characters were built around the whole concept of character development. You can see the writer part of me coming out now. But it ended in season 5. It ended with season 5 because that was the point where Roddenberry was not able to do any more of his work, and Berman came along, and all Berman could see was action scenes and dystopic futures and stress and irrelevance and all that. And even the ending of the series kind of went downhill. It didn't become anything about character development. It became about the overarching story. Let's do a big time travel story and a big multiple universe story that wraps up it all in scientific loveliness. And it didn't. It didn't wrap up any of the character stories at all, apart from a half-arsed attempt to try and show that Picard has matured and wants to spend more time with his actual crew. Yeah, that would have been a good thing to do maybe a season earlier and then develop that part of the relationship. That's character development. Seeing the character development, not having a little hint at it right at the very end of an episode when, oh, no more episodes. And Enterprise was just, I mean, don't even get me started. I mean, for one thing, saying that you're going to rejig the entire Star Trek universe, even though everyone has said Enterprise was the first starship, original Enterprise was the first starship, blah blah blah, and all that. Let's not go into that whole problem. But no, you just lose track completely, CBS, of everything that fans do, everything that fans can contribute to a situation, or can contribute to a series, or contribute to a continuing story. You completely fucking ignore. And it beggars belief. And this whole fandom thing, cutting all that stuff out, cutting things like Star Trek New Voyages, Star Trek Phase 2, the series with Vic Mignogna, and cutting Stage 9 is just short-sighted, control freak, micromanaging cunt bollocks. Because all you're doing is you're cutting away all your free advertising. You're cutting away everything that people can do that puts other stuff into the mix, into the internet, and so on. It's not like you're going to go back and do these things again, is it? It's not like you're going to go back into, and it's not like you're going to go back into things and say, oh well, this is canon now because this stuff isn't. The stuff that the fans do is never canon. Everybody knows that the stuff that fans do is not canon. It's fanon. Fan canon. Why can't you get this concept? Why can't anybody get this concept? Fans will build their own universe and their own opinion and their own concept around whatever you give them as a TV series or a book series or an RPG or anything else that might actually spark someone's creative mind. Because CBS, you do not hold the monopoly on the creative gene. You have one concept that goes through. You have the power to make that canon. You have the power to make that what comes out on telly, what then becomes what everyone believes. But what you do not have the fucking right to do is control everyone else's creativity. You cannot keep these things down. We are human beings. We will use these things to do the things that we want to do to keep our lives happy, while we have to go to shitty jobs that suck ass. We will do whatever it takes in here to make us happy. If people out there want to spend their time, their money, their effort on making something because they have a vision based on your IP, that is their fucking right. You do not own people. If people are not making money from it, you don't have any say on it, because the only thing that an IP agreement constricts is the ability to make money from your property. And the sooner you assholes in America and you assholes at CBS and you assholes at Disney get that little concept into your stupid money grabbing brains, you might actually have an environment where you can develop these things, help people with these things, actually show some fucking support. You will benefit. You will benefit in the end because your franchise will be expanded to millions more people. You look at how many hits things like Vic Mignogna's series or Star Trek New Voyages. I'm going to have to look up what that bloody series is called now, because it's going to do my treeing for the rest of the day if I don't. Vic. Oops. Mignogna. Come on, show me it. Show me the money. Money. Come on, Vic, where are you? Vic Mignogna. Continues. Star Trek continues. Thank you. Right, so that's it. Star Trek continues. These things have kept things going. And I'm sorry if I come across as being overly passionate about this stuff, but this is probably something to do with the whole elite thing as well. It's about fans keeping things alive. Nothing can last for 60, 70, 30, even 20 years without fans being behind it, without people enjoying it, without people getting into it and being able to take that further. Things can't develop unless people are there to develop them. Quite a lot of things now, even quite a lot of people I think you'll find that are working on your little series there, CBS, have been fans of Star Trek for years. Science fiction channels, Sci-Fi Channel for example, would not exist without Star Trek fans, without sci-fi fans, without people who want to actually put their bit in that, who want to contribute. This is where you need to take your heads out your shiny fucking arses, stop counting the dollar bills, and start to get in touch with reality and get in touch with people, because that's who you work for. Jason G, hello. Going back to Stage 9. Stage 9 was a passion project. Stage 9 was a fucking marvellous idea. It was one man's vision of what could be done with the Star Trek universe in a very simple fashion. The fact that he did this in VR is astounding. The fact that he's got, apparently now he's, oh, I actually have this. I actually have Stage 9. I'm pleased to say I managed to grab a copy of it before it was taken down. There are two versions. There's version 9, there's version 10. Version 9 is the 3D one, and the latest version of it is a Christmassy one, so everyone's wearing Santa hats, which is a bit bizarre. And version 10 is 2D only. But to do something like that and provide that thing, as the guy himself says in his video, the one that's all blurry and stuff, is that we as people are never going to see what Star Trek shows us in real life. We're never going to see a utopian society. We're never going to see a society that develops to the point where it's going to hit the stars. It's going to be able to travel through the stars, have spaceships and starships and all that kind of stuff, and have this environment that everybody fell in love with. This quasi-military exploration, discovery, exciting times, right? We're never going to see the things like the Enterprise. We look at these things through the portal on our screens, and we fall in love with them and the people that are in there. Now, Stage 9 gives us the ability to stick a headset on, one of these, relatively cheap, or one of the even cheaper ones, gives us the chance to step into that universe, to be part of that environment that we wanted to be part of for decades. CBS, if you have plans in mind to do something like this, to do Stage 9, to do a virtual tour of the Enterprise, then do it. Say to people that that's what you're going to do. Even grab the guys from Stage 9 and say, would you please help us do this? Or we will do this if you let us control it. Because at least then it would still happen. It wouldn't be a project that had so much promise. And even in its early beta versions, I mean, version 9 is just sweet as a nut. It is glitchy as fuck. It is. You can tell it's not a professional project. It is glitchy as fuck. But that's the whole point of development. That's the whole point of continuing a project, is you refine it and you make it work. The fact that it's a fan project and it works on pretty much anybody's computer with a VR setup is proof that that guy knew what he was doing. So rather than take him to court, tell him that he's a bad boy and that he's not allowed to do the little shiny thing that you wanted to do, then give him the fucking credit of being a creative, clever, passionate person and say, well done, son. Absolutely fantastic job. That's bloody brilliant. With a little bit of support you could actually make that into a real product, and we can help you do that if you slap our little name all over it. But no, what do? Slap out the lawyers, cease and desist, don't do this because it's naughty. Fuck you. Fuck you, CBS. You're a bunch of cunts. And to be quite frank, I will never, ever buy anything from your stores. I will never, ever get involved with Discovery as a paid project. I will download it. I will torrent it. I will download it illegally as fuck. And if I had the option to do it without being sued by your candy fucking asses, I would distribute it. I would show it on a big fucking screen outside my house. I would put my big fuck off 50-inch TV in my window and show your intellectual property to the entire fucking world, because it would stick it in your face, and basically what you want is people doing that into your fucking face. Because you're a bunch of money grabbing wankers who have no clue what society is all about. Stage 9 is an awesome project. Stage 9 is an awesome game. It's not really a game because all it is a virtual tour. You can interact with the environment around you. Best part about it that I've seen is you can get into a shuttlecraft, you can open the doors of the shuttle bay, and you can fly out the ship. And in VR, the scale is fantastic. And it really brings it home, sort of how big the Enterprise is. You read it all in the books and so on. But it brings back exactly how good it is. And for it to have died in the way that it's died is fucking shameful. And whoever it is at CBS that made that decision, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Because you have stomped all over someone's creativity, you have stomped all over someone's passion, and you've pissed all over the dream he had of making something that was actually relevant and useful, other than the big bag of wank games that you people have brought out. I mean, have you brought out a game that can actually simulate a ship? No. Star Trek Bridge Crew. What can you do in a Star Trek Bridge Crew? Oh, you can sit in a fucking chair and press a couple of buttons. Can you get off that chair and wander around? No. Do we have to pay extra for your Next Generation DLC? Yes, of course we do, because you're money grabbing bastards. But I don't mind doing that, because even that gives me that little bit of joy and happiness to sit in the bridge, sit in the captain's seat, look around and go, holy crap, I'm on the Enterprise. When you put the original series Enterprise in there, I honestly, literally sat in that chair and, I'll admit it, a tear escaped. Because ever since I was 7? And I first watched, with my parents, the episode Spock's Brain, and was first introduced to, admittedly the worst episode apparently, as everyone says, but to me that episode's special because that was my first ever look into the world of Star Trek, and that love affair has gone on for longer than my love affair with Elite. Right? And for me to be able to sit in the captain's chair, on the bridge of the Enterprise, in Kirk's seat, and look around at the entire place, yeah, it was emotional. To do that in the Next Generation Enterprise, and to actually be able to walk all over the ship and walk around the bridge, is even better. Okay, I'm not as invested in Next Gen as I was in the original series. As far as I'm concerned, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, and to an extent Discovery can fuck off. I don't care. I don't like them. Don't want them. Not even interested. Get shot. But those two series, special because they were Star Trek. They had the optimism, the character development, the characterization, everything that you would want in a series that is supposed to show you a better side of humanity. And you want to be part of that environment. And that's why the Enterprise and the Enterprise D and all the kind of technology like the ships and the shuttles and all the kind of places you can go, that's why they're special to us as people, because they're the places these things happened. They're the places these people lived in. And if we can share that, experience just a little bit, just a teeny tiny little bit, in a virtual environment, I'd pay fucking thousands for that. The fact that this guy did it for free is lucky. It's lucky. Yes. The original series was in the late 70s. I watched the first UK showing of Spock's Brain. That was 1979? I want to say 1979, or was it 77? I might have been younger than 7 then in that case. But anyway. Hey, Gilso Yamazai, I've not seen you for a while. But, yeah, the fact that this guy did it for free and actually gave it to other people is a sign of the typical sort of fan that Star Trek's positivity gave us. Star Trek's positive attitudes, its utopian society ideas, its concepts of getting on with each other and living together and being good to each other are exactly what our society needed at that point in time when the Cold War was just there. And it hasn't changed even since the Cold War ended. The world's still a shitty place. Our society's not going to come to that point. Our society's going to keep on fighting each other for decades, eons. We're never going to get on. We're all going to fuck each other up at some point. But until that does happen, until the missiles start to fly or the chemical weapons start to fall on everybody else, we need something to take us away from that. And the fact that this guy, whose name I wish I knew, if anybody knows, let me know. I just wish that there were more people like him. Hey, Phoenix Defier. And yeah, I am passionate about this, and I apologise if I've ranted and swore a lot, but this is something that is very, very, very important to me, and it's just something that I see people getting stomped all over and people getting treated like shit because they've tried to do something special and tried to do something that they know there's a market for. And even as a tech demo, it's spectacularly well done. And so I applaud the person behind Stage9. Well done. You are a king among men. You deserve a place in the Star Trek Hall of Fame. And it's a shame that you got stomped on by a bunch of wankers. There's my professional and non-professional opinion, all wrapped up into one. So, on that note, I'm going to wrap up this news broadcast. I hope you've enjoyed the Angry Man is Angry section of this stream this evening. I'm going to play Stage 9 in the next section of the broadcast. I'm going to load that up in the VR version, and we'll have a shufty of what's going on. I hope it comes out in VR okay. I'm not sure it will do, because the screen didn't look that great. If not, then I'll try and fire up the 2D version. But yeah, it's the cease and desist order on the Stage 9 Next Generation ship simulator, which I am extremely annoyed about. But anyway, I'm going to put this up on YouTube. It'll be on the video on demand right after I've done this. If anybody wants to watch it, feel free. But I'll be putting it up on YouTube later on this evening. Until that point, then I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I hope you've watched it. I'll be back in about 5 minutes once I've changed all the settings on the stream, with hopefully a session of Stage 9 that you'll all enjoy. Thank you for watching. I hope you watch these things in future. I'm thinking about doing, if you've enjoyed these, by the way, and this is talking to YouTube as well as you guys on Twitch. If you have enjoyed this and you'd like to see there's more of this sort of thing, then like, subscribe, and please leave a comment to let me know what you liked and what you didn't like. If you like this sort of stuff, I'm contemplating doing it either as a live stream or as just a series of occasional videos. I don't see it being something that would work particularly well as being interactive, although, I don't know, it was okay. But obviously, yeah, feedback is important. Let me know what you feel. So thank you for watching. Stage 9 people, keep strong. There's a petition in the chat window. The URL for it is on the screen now if you want to do it. I'll take me off for a second so that you can I have to get a delete thing in there somewhere, didn't I? Let's try and get that right. That's the URL for the thing. It's in the chat. It's been repeated in chat about 15 times. Blind Speed, thank you for the sub. Go there, sign the petition. You never know, it might help. I don't know if it's going to help. CBS is a big corporate entity that have got their head up their arses and they never pay attention to this sort of crap, but you never know what might happen. If enough people do something, look what happened with the original series of Star Trek. So all I can ask you is give it a try. If there's anything you can do to publicise Stage 9 or to try and put Stage 9 back on the map, or even speak to CBS yourself, go to their offices, whatever you want to do, feel free, and paint Stage 9 in big red paint letters all over their studio, then I would applaud you, and I'd probably pay you bail as well. So yeah, take care. Go there, sign the petition, do whatever you can to publicise it, and keep the faith, really. Thank you, and good night.